Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're getting ready for the IELTS exam, you probably know that writing task 2 feels like a huge mountain to climb. But what if I told you there's a secret to it? And that secret has almost nothing to do with how many big words you know, and everything to do with a simple pattern hiding in plain sight. So, let's get into it.
Just read that again and let it sink in. This, right here, is the #1 reason why so many people walk out of the test feeling great, but then get a score that just doesn't make sense. They've written a brilliant essay. It just wasn't the one they were asked to write.
And that's exactly where this idea of the perfect wrong answer comes from. You can have absolutely flawless grammar, an amazing range of vocabulary, but if you don't actually do what the question asks, your score hits a ceiling before the examiner even gets past your first paragraph.
So let's just bust a really common myth right now. The IELTS exam is not trying to reward you for stuffing your essay with big, complicated words. It's actually the opposite. Examiners are trained to look for clarity. They want to see, did this person understand the question, and can they build a logical, easy-to-follow argument? That's it.
This all boils down to one of the 4 official scoring criteria. It's called task response. And honestly, it's the very first thing an examiner checks for. It's a simple yes or no question. Did you answer the question they asked? If you get the essay type wrong, you've stumbled at the first hurdle, and your band score takes an immediate hit.
So what's the solution to all this? Well, it's realizing that writing task 2 isn't just one giant, scary essay. It's actually a super predictable set of 5 different blueprints. And once you know what they are, you'll never be caught off guard by a question again.
And this slide right here is where the light bulb really goes on. Look at this. Take one single topic, let's say technology. That one idea can be turned into 5 totally different essay questions. Each one needs a completely different structure. So, if you're asked for your opinion, but you write a problem-solution essay, you've just written a perfect wrong answer.
Okay, so let's break these 5 blueprints down one by one. I want you to think of these as your secret map for any task 2 question that the IELTS exam could possibly throw at you.
First up, we've got the opinion essay. You'll see phrases like agree or disagree or to what extent do you agree. The #1 most important rule here is simple. Pick a side. That's it. This is not the time to be balanced or see both sides. The examiner is looking for a clear, consistent argument.
And the structure for this one? It's beautifully simple. You state your opinion right up front in the intro. Then you give one reason to support it in your first body paragraph and a second reason in your second body paragraph. Then you just wrap it all up by restating your opinion in the conclusion. Clean and effective.
Next, we have the discussion essay. Now, this is where a lot of people get tripped up because it feels like an opinion essay, but it's not. The key phrase is discuss both views. Here, you are required to be a neutral reporter first before you get to say what you think.
So, naturally, the structure reflects that. You're going to dedicate one whole body paragraph to discussing the first viewpoint and another whole paragraph to the second viewpoint. And only then, usually in the conclusion, do you come in and clearly state which side you agree with more.
All right, essay type 3, the advantage and disadvantage essay. This one has a sneaky little trap. Sometimes the question just wants you to list the pros and cons, but other times it'll ask if the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. That outweigh word is key. It means you have to make a final judgment.
The structure here is pretty logical. You lay out the good stuff in one paragraph and the bad stuff in another.
But you have to pay really close attention to that last step. Your conclusion only needs to say which side is stronger if the question specifically asks for that judgment. Number 4 is the problem and solution essay. This one's very practical, and the main rule here is all about making a logical connection. You can't just list a bunch of problems over here and then a totally unrelated list of solutions over there. For every problem you raise, you should suggest a relevant solution. And the structure is just as practical as the question. You use your first body paragraph to identify the problems or their causes. Then, in the second one, you propose solutions that directly address those exact problems. It's a really clear cause and effect kind of essay. And finally, we have the direct question essay, which some people call the two-part question. The mistake here is so incredibly common. People will write 80% of their essay answering the first question and then just tack on a single sentence about the second one. The rule is simple. You have to give equal time and space to both questions. This is probably the easiest structure to remember. Just think of it like a checklist. Your first body paragraph, it answers question 1. Your second body paragraph, it answers question 2. Do that, and you've automatically guaranteed you've met the main requirement of the task. Okay, so you know the 5 types now. Awesome. But how do you spot them when you're under pressure, with the clock ticking? Well, the good news is, all it takes is about 10 seconds. You just need to do a quick scan of the question. Seriously, before you write a single word of your plan, do this. Physically underline the key instruction words, words like discuss, advantages, or agree. Then ask yourself, okay, what's my job here? Am I arguing, comparing, or solving a problem? This tiny little habit forces your brain to pick the right blueprint, and it can have a massive impact on your final score. Now that we know the right way to approach these essays, let's just quickly look at the most common traps people fall into, because sometimes knowing what not to do is just as powerful as knowing what to do. Look at these mistakes. Every single one of them comes from getting the essay type wrong. Giving your opinion when they just wanted advantages and disadvantages, that's the wrong essay. Only talking about one side in a discussion essay, wrong essay. Using some generic template that doesn't actually answer the two-part question, all of these are just fast tracks to a lower score. And really, that's what this all comes down to. It's time to shift your focus. Before you start worrying about using fancy words or complex sentences, you need to first master the skill of recognition. Recognize the question, pick the right blueprint for the job, and then, and only then, can you really let your English skills shine.